Welcome back to Neat Talk. I am so glad you could join me today. Today we're going to be talking about chapter 6 of my book, which is titled Testing, 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 the Concordant Score to the Rescue. But first, let me share with you what a concordant score is. In layman's terms, it means that if a student is not successful on a state assessment, they may then utilize, for example, the SAT or the ACT in place of the state assessment. So I'll give you another example utilizing two of my students. They were very, very close friends. I mean, elementary, middle school, high school. Well, one of the young ladies mastered the state assessment by the time she was in the 10th grade or so. But unfortunately, her closest, dearest friend had reached the 12th grade, and unfortunately, she had not passed the state assessment. So when I was placed at the high school, this was brought to my attention once we started pulling the data, talking about it with our teams, and we started to utilize the concordant score to help students like this master and pass all the requirements they needed to graduate. Now, in this particular case, we were cutting it very, very close because this young lady only had one more attempt before she was going to be told that she could not graduate with her cohort. Now, you know, all kids want to graduate with the kids they started school with, and we want to make sure that she had that same experience. So what we did was we got with our team, including those in the literacy world. We prepared an educational plan just for this student. She would practice those things that she did not do well on for the state assessment. She would practice those things in a program called Khan Academy. That's Khan. And to speed this story up, I am pleased to share with you that she did indeed pass the concordant score. She never did master the state assessment, but she did pass the concordant score. So we utilized those scores to replace her scores for the state assessment, and she graduated. She walked across the stage with her closest friend. They were kind of close in alphabet to each other, so they were not far apart. So I want to share with you, parents, students, and anyone else who may not be aware, our students have opportunities to graduate when they have not mastered the state level assessment if we utilize the concordant scores. This is important because we want to ensure that we give them every single opportunity possible. Minority students sometimes don't receive the same amount of resources, recognitions, or even the support as their counterparts. My mission, one of my goals, is to use my voice to encourage parents. If you don't understand that process, which because quite frankly, I didn't understand it until I got to the high school. I did not know the significance of utilizing the concordant score, and I didn't even know it was very prevalent. But I found out that many people were doing that. And unfortunately, a lot of the minority kids were not aware. Well, my job before I left that school was to make them aware. Now, I utilize that for all of my kids, and I want to be very clear whenever I do any of my YouTube videos for Neat Talk. I care and cared when I was a principal about all of my students, no matter the race, gender, ethnicity. But I saw a particular need, and I emphasize this oftentimes, for our minority students because, unfortunately, they're the ones who don't receive the resources, the information, the support necessary. So I want to help eliminate that. I want to provide opportunities for them to avoid those common pitfalls that we see far too often. So in my book, I also talk about in chapter 6 the importance of if a child or a student is not doing well in school, we cannot overlook summer school. Meet with the counselor, talk about where they are, what they need, if they need to make up any credits. Let's get that plan solidified at the beginning of the school year. You know, kids don't want to go to school in the summer. They don't. They want to have fun. But if it's going to ensure that they graduate on time with their cohort, prepare them for post-secondary opportunities, we want them there. There's also something called credit retrieval. Most schools have a lab now where if a student has done poorly in one class, they can go into a credit retrieval class at school during regular school hours and make up those courses. And in Florida, it was the Florida Virtual School. They would use those programs to make up those courses Other districts and counties and states may have different avenues to help students. In short, my goal for this particular segment of Neat Talk is to share with you that there are other opportunities and ways for our students to overcome the state assessments. And we want to make sure that we capitalize, utilize, and make sure those kids understand that they have other opportunities. We do not want them to ever lose hope. So I thank you for joining me for this particular segment of Neat Talk. And I want to leave you with a quote by B.B. King. And it says, "The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you." So please subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Facebook at Anitha Jones Author, my Instagram, Anitha Jones, and my website, anithajones.com. I thank you so much for joining me again for a Neat Talk, and I hope to see you back. One more thing. If you want to talk about anything at all, send me a message on my YouTube. Make a comment, and I will be glad to discuss those things as well. Thank you again. I hope to see you back again real soon. Bye-bye.